I found the energy this month, it was kind of, it felt sort of heavy and deep and yet uplifting and positive and optimistic. It had kind of this high low sort of energy going to it. So it felt sort of heavy and deep and yet uplifting and positive and optimistic. It had kind of this high low sort of energy going to it. So, like I said, the first usually I just kind of tune into the month's energy and see what comes up. And the first thing I got was Winter Wonderland. And I felt like, but I was looking out the window and it was like a beautiful snowy day. So I thought, well, gee, am I being influenced by that? But I think it was, what I saw was like a fresh start. That's what it felt like to me, was a fresh start. And I felt like that was what the energy was going to be this month. It was sort of, I feel like, I've been talking about this for a while about how because of COVID and lockdowns and all the things that we've been through over the last few years, that, we're just starting to get going again. And so that's what it feels like to me. It feels almost like, okay, the lockdown, the stopping everything, and then the kind of slow start up again. I feel like that's kind of completed now. And we're back, we're getting back to a pace and things are moving forward again. And as I've been saying, we don't want to just do things the way we were doing them. We had a chance to kind of stop, reevaluate, assess our lives, and we want this to be new. And last month the theme was about dreaming big, and it was about thinking about possibilities. What can be new, what can be different in our lives. And if you're perfectly happy, that's great, and if everything's fine, that's great. But I feel like there's most likely going to be some area of our lives where we want to change something. We want something to be different. So I really think that this is the energy right now, is really like new possibilities. So that was the kind of Winter Wonderland, was like this sort of clean, fresh start. And then interestingly, the next word that I got was hunger. Like, it's almost like we're hungry for this. We're hungry for, let me put it this way. What area of your life are you hungry to have change? What part of your life? It could be relationships, it could be money, it could be where you're living, it could be the type of work that you're doing, it could just be a restlessness that you've been experiencing in your life. But some part of your life, look and see if there's some sort of a hunger there for something different, something you can, sink your teeth into. So that was the next piece of energy that I got. And let's see. Yeah, I was talking about, it may just be that we're just tired of what we've had. That's kind of like the whole thing has been like, it's worn out now. It's like, enough already. I really don't want to talk about the pandemic anymore. I don't want to talk about the lockdowns. So maybe this will be the last monthly forecast that I bring it up again. But I feel like it's threadbare at this point, and we really are wanting something new to come forth. And what I love about spring is that energy of those shoots, pushing up through the frozen ground and starting new life. And usually the bulbs and everything are just so colorful and so beautiful. And so, what's the word? Well, strong, and I can't think of it, but the idea that it takes some fortitude for that to happen. So I think that's also something that's being called on for us, is to just kind of hold steady. And I think another energy this month is trust, just having a lot of trust that something is going to change, something will come through, and we may not see it right now. We may not see the big picture of everything yet, but there's like bits and pieces of that energy of something that's wants to change. And I always feel when I'm talking about these things, it's like, I'm not just sort of pulling random thoughts out of the air. There's actually this pressure and these currents that are out there that are sort of, in this case, a pressure that's pushing on us for something to change. And So without going into a lot more detail, technical detail about that, I do feel like that's what's going on. So, so dreaming big, I think is important this month, continuing that theme, holding steady while we're waiting for things to change, catching glimpses, but not grabbing onto anything yet, because I don't think we're seeing the whole picture of what is happening, thinking about what we're hungry to have change in our lives and what we're hungering for, something new. And then while we're, in a process where we're sort of in a little bit of a holding pattern, do your personal work, like clear out the old stuff. This is really a time, spring cleaning. It's like spring clean your house, spring clean your emotional realm. And yeah, I think that's the message. So there's a lot going on. Like I said, I feel like there's a lot under the surface that's pushing through. So there's a depth to this month. And then also there's a lightness, a hopefulness that's there as well. So that's it for March. And yeah, that's it for March.